Welcome to another installment of season previews. We have Ethan Fitzpatrick of Longford again and Luke McQuillan of Drogheda. How are you going, lads? You well?
Not too bad.
Good. All good, yeah.
Now, it's an intriguing enough season, isn't it, for both clubs? Like, Drogheda came up as champions. Longford came up, obviously, through the playoffs and that. But, Ethan, we'll start off with you. Between 1 and 10, how would you rank Longford's signings this season?
Oh, geez, that's a tough enough one. I suppose maybe around mid 5 or 6. Like, you know, like we've kind of brought in a lot of players like for like. We probably haven't really strengthened in any particular area. More so, just kind of the squad depth itself. I'd say like we have we've signed a few players there, but I think, to be honest, like, Drogheda have probably done the better business than us. If I was to be fully honest, like.
But do you think, from Longford's point of view, a lot of that's to do with budget, essentially, like, and just being careful?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like, we were kind of discussing it there during the week. Like, there's been a good few teams gone up over the last couple of years with different mentalities. You've had teams that have gone up and pumped money in and came straight back down. And then you've had other teams that have gone up and kind of kept the bones of their squad, and they've gone straight back down. So, like, you can't really justify putting a heap of money in, you know, especially with what's going on at the moment. Like, but like, we've kept the core of the squad. Like, I was happy enough with who we kept, and we've a bigger bench and a bigger squad this year. I just don't think that the strength overall has gotten better. I think we've just have more to choose from, really.
Yeah, probably right, actually. Luke, yourself, scale of 1 to 10, Drogheda.
I'd be high enough. I'm happy enough, you know. I think it was the really, really good business been done by Drogheda this season. I think, you know, over the last 3 years, I think we've kept we've done really well to keep the core of the squad, if you'd want to say, you know, and the likes of Connor Kane, James Brown, Mark Doyle, you know, keeping them over the last sort of few years has been brilliant. And now they're getting their opportunity in the Premier Division, and then, like, adding on now the experience and the quality that we've added in Dane Massey, you know. He's won everything with Dundalk over the last 8 years, and seeing him sign for Drogheda was absolutely brilliant. And Deegs as well, Gary Deegan's is a really, really good sign as well. He'll bring experience and a real leader. Daniel O'Reilly as well from Shelburne, another quality player who I've seen in the early pre-season. It's finished now, more or less, you know. But I thought he was really, really good in pre-season, and I'm sure you know, he'll have a good season, hopefully. And then Ronan Murray as well, coming in from Sligo Rovers. So yeah, it's really, really good business as well. So really, really pleased overall with how it has been.
I'm just sniggering there because you didn't give me a number.
I'd say an 8. I'm very happy. 8. I'm very, very happy. Yeah, I'm very happy.
That's good, in fairness. Which signings, so, would you say, Ethan, have actually impressed you the most at Longford? Is there one that you'd pick out and say, that's our best signing, essentially?
There's probably 2 that have stood out. Like, in fairness, the pre-season games haven't gone too well for us. I think we've played 6 pre-season games and we only won 1. So look, you can read what you want into pre-season, whatever, but I suppose Aaron Bulger has been very good. Obviously, everyone's probably familiar with him with Rovers and going across the water and stuff, like, so he was a very good signing to get in, and he has impressed. But one man was probably a bit of an unknown to a good few League of Ireland fans, but it was Aaron Robinson. So he's after jumping up from Bluebell. So look, he looks really, really good, very physical in the middle, good on the ball, calm. Like, so it's just the question remains, can he jump from that level straight into Premier Division? But like, from pre-season, you definitely think he was within a shout of starting anyway.
Luke, key players this season for Drogheda, regardless of signings, just in general.
Mark Doyle, definitely, you know, over the last, you know, he's been brilliant with his goals, and he contributes to the team so well. Dane Massey as well will be, you know, a big player for us. Like, there's so many to name. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the younger lads get on, even myself, you know. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing how Brandon Birmingham does, James Clark, you know, Killian Phillips as well. They've all looked really, really good in pre-season. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to see how they do as well.
Where's Dane Massey actually been playing in pre-season? What position?
To be honest, I've only seen him in one game, and it was against Dundalk, and I think he was playing alongside Dan O'Reilly.
Centre half.
It was. I think it was. It was good to see that. He was played really really well against Dundalk. Playing some really really nice balls and it was like brilliant ones. And it was really really good to see. He's a really really good left foot on him actually, and we've a real good player there. Ronan Murray as well. He scored that unbelievable free kick against Dundalk. Looks really really good as well. So look, pre-season overall, like for instance, like Longford won't be worrying about the results, and it's pre-season, the results don't matter. It's just about getting minutes under the belt. But overall, I've been really happy with how pre-season looks and how the squad sort of looks.
Ethan, one young player to watch from the Longford squad who maybe didn't really make an impact last year, but you feel could make inroads this year.
I suppose one that's kind of sticking out there, Aaron McNally was very good. If that narrows it down, we have 6 Aarons. So if you can picture him, he was playing. He played that wing back role there last year. He's a young player. He was very, very good last year. Very, very good. I think, there's a lot of competition in the team this year. I know I was chatting to you during the week and a few other Longford fans, and we were racking our brains trying to even pick who we think would be in the starting 11 for the first game, because there's so many players like for like. And even what formation we'll play, because we've had a few over the last couple of seasons. So I think he's one that could really light up the division if he hits the ground running and if he gets that jersey.
Well, I think that's it. I think Dara Doyle's going to have to maybe adapt his formations and change to suit the time of the season. I don't think it's going to be necessarily, say, a 4-3-3 or a 4-5-1 or whatever it is. But how would you see? What would you think would be their primary or go-to formation?
Well, it's been three centre backs with 2 wing backs is kind of the one that seems to result in. But last season, he was kind of playing one formation, and then mid-season, then when Longford went on a bit of a dip, it was a completely new formation then, and we were kind of getting a few results with that. So to be honest with you, I don't really know. I was trying to work it out the other day. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm a mad advocate of 4-4-2. That's it. That's all I want to see. But none of this 3 centre back stuff. But look, it seems to be working for us. But I just think from pre-season, I know Luke was saying there you can't really look into results, but I think we really need to step it up a gear now. The first couple of games of the season, points on the board as soon as possible, to try and take the pressure off.
Actually, Luke, Drogheda are no stranger to 3-5-2, are they, in fairness? And I know Clancy likes to use 4-3-3 as well. Can you see in the Premier Division now maybe 3-5-2 a little bit more often as well? 3-5, like a 3-5-1-1 actually, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, look, even myself, I don't, there's so much depth in the squad, and I have no idea what sort of team we will go for in the first game of the season. I'm exactly like yourself. I'm trying to think what sort of lineups will happen. Look, it'll be. I'm sure it's pre-season and all. You'll get this sort of fair idea and that. But look, last season we had them formations that you mentioned. We changed it up a good bit. Throughout the season, obviously different games. You play different opponents, so you obviously have to change it. You can't be using the same sort of tactic or the same formation for against one team, especially in the first division. Like I thought last year, every team was different, so you'd have to nearly change it up nearly every game, But I'm sure it's going to be no different as well in the Premier Division this year,
Yeah, Drogheda actually like to play counter-attacking football generally, don't they? And in the Premier Division, that actually might suit them, because you feel that most teams aren't going to sit back against Drogheda as well, aren't they? Not, they're not going to sit. No one's really going to sit back like they did some of the teams in the first division. I don't think.
Of course, yeah. No, look, of course as well. You look in the first division, you had teams who sort of would be happy enough to defend for 60 minutes, and then you have to sort of I think it might have been the Cove game last year, I think, or the Athlone game where we they defended and then scored in the counter attacks. You see it a lot these days in football, not even in the League of Ireland. You see it in England as well. Probably Jose Mourinho sort of tactic. But I think there'll be no team in the Premier Division this year that will sit back. So I think that's always a good thing. I prefer seeing open football and open games, really. Do
you think that would suit Longford? To be honest, though, Eden.
I was just going to say, I think with the Premier Division and the jump up, if a team sits back for 60 or 70 minutes and they get one chance in the Premier Division, they'll more than likely take that chance.
Yeah.
You know, whereas in the first division, you could give up 2 or 3 chances at the back and you'd still be in the game. Whereas I think this year you'll really be punished for individual mistakes into the back. And like, I don't know if Longford, like as Luke was saying there, like, you know, you'll approach. I'm sure you'll approach games differently and whatever. Like when you're playing the likes of Rovers and Dundalk at the top end there, I'm sure both Longford and Dundalk, or Longford, sorry, and Drogheda, more than likely park the bus or whatever you want to call it for a good one.
Even bigger teams often do that when they play the
Yeah, but like it's just it'll be interesting to see, and I think Dara Doyle will have a big headache now with the what way he's going to line up and what way he's going to approach games. But look, at the end of the day, I'm just kind of glad that we're in the Premier Division this year. I didn't really expect it last year towards the end of the season, and it was just such a huge boost for the club, like, you know.
Do you know what could be key actually for Longford is Rob Manley, because if Rob Manley can fire in the Premier Division like he has done in the First Division, that would be a big plus, because we've talked about it before on different shows and things like that strikers, very hard to get good strikers in this league. It's a lot of pressure to put on him, but Rob Manley, depending how he does, could be key. Of course he needs
I don't think Rob has the pressure on him. I think the man that has the pressure on him this season is Aaron Dobbs, because he went to Shells, he played a year in the Premier. All right, he mightn't have been first team choice every week for Shells, but he's back at Longford now, and like he was at Longford before, and he's a great like first touch and kind of hold up play, and he's a solid target man. But like if he could start putting a few finishes together, like he could put Mandy under serious pressure there if we're going to go with a one up front, like, you know.
That's what you want as well, that kind of competition over 26
Yeah.
games, isn't it? Luke, how do you see their strengths and weaknesses for Drogheda this season?
I've no idea, man. No, look, you definitely caught me out on this one. I think, look, I think you've got a real player there in Mark Doyle, you know. I think he's going to be a big plus for Drogheda this season. He deserves this opportunity, he really does, you know. He's been with us since. He's been with us in years. Like, obviously, he was with the academy and that, and he's grown his way up. And even last season, he was just, you know, you'll even know yourself. You've been to the games, and you've been to a lot of games last season, and you're seeing the sort of player he is. So I think he'll be, if he gets firing, I think he'll be unbelievable for us this season. I think he'll be a big plus. That's just, look, you know what I mean? It's too early to tell, but I'm just looking forward to seeing how we start off. You know what I mean? The first game of the season, you want to start it right. And I hope that Drogheda do, and I'm sure it's going to be great.
It's competition up front, isn't there? Because I noticed Chris Lyons is doing fairly well in the pre-season matches, knowing that Dinny Corcoran is at the club as well. You know, who says Dinny Corcoran's going to be number one striker? We don't know, do we, for sure?
You never know. No, you never know. But I think you know, Chris has been really, really good. Like, Chris has been with us since Tim's come in a few years ago, so he's been there a while now, you know. And another player who I think deserves the opportunity. I think he'll probably be disappointed with himself, you know, last season, and I think he knows that himself. But I think this season he's started well in pre-season, and he'll want to continue that now. It'll be, you know, it's a difficult one to tell who'll be the number one striker. We never know. It's two real good players there. You could nearly even play them together. Chrissy and Dinny, you know. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how the two of them who'll be playing, and if they pair alongside each other, because I think if they pair alongside each other, I think it's a dangerous sort of duo. I think, because they're two completely different players in their game, so I think they might work well off each other, you know.
Yeah, that could be interesting. All right, can Longford stay up?
She's put me on the spot here now. I know. Let's just think. I was listening to what Luke was saying there. I was just kind of thinking to myself, like, Drogheda didn't beat us last year, so I suppose we kind of might have some sort of a chance. We seem to be their bogey team over the last couple.
Yeah, we have. I don't think we've bet them since I think it might have been 2018. I think that's the last time Drogheda bet.
So if we get a handy 9 points there, like, surely we'd be well on our way, you know. I know. I think. Look, obviously we're up against it. Where the bookies have us down as favourites to go back down anyway. But like, look, Longford we're well used to being the underdog. I think it'll be tough. It'll be very tough. I like obviously you'd take 8 now. Anyone would take 8. I'm sure. Like if you offered any team there, you'd go straight away, no bother 8. And I'd say there'd be some teams that even say if you offered them the playoff now, they'd take it. But I think it really depends on the younger lads and if they can step up to the mark. Like I've no real huge expectations for this year. I'm just, as I said, I'm just kind of. I know it's probably not a great attitude to have, but I'm just happy that we're in the Premier. Like if we can stay up, all well and good. But if we were to go straight back down, look, we just weren't good enough. And one team has to go down, and that's the way it is.
Luke, how do you see Drogheda? Where do you think they'll finish this season?
Again, it's too hard to tell. I think the quality in the league is just it's as if it's gone up a level. You see the players that are coming in and they're coming in and they're you see Dundalk, like you see Shamrock Rovers for instance, and you see who they've brought in: Sean Gannon, Sean Hoare, like statement signings really, and Danny Mandrew. He obviously, we know the sort of player he is, and he's obviously he didn't have it really easy with those in the last sort of, it might be a year and a half since last year, more or less, but Drogheda, I think it's a good squad there. I'm just I just want to see them do as well as possible, and I want to see the players given that have been with us for so long and stuck by us, getting that opportunity in the Premier Division, and hopefully they can relish in that opportunity, and look, there's not a lot of pressure. There's not pressure on Drogheda or Longford to do well. So I think hopefully Drogheda can surprise a few people and establish themselves in the Premier Division. That's my hopes anyways.
That's it as well. Like both sides, in fairness, have a lot of young players who played First Division football the last couple of seasons and have thrived. So I'm very interested to see how both sides do in that regard in the Premier Division, and those particular players, more so than the signings in many ways, isn't it? Well, that's the interesting point, and see if you're right. Like I would have seen some of the players that said, I think they're Premier Division standard. They could play, on a higher standard. So the opportunity's there to see that now, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I suppose both like Longford and Drogheda kind of have established their team over the last couple of years, and they've both brought in like additions to the squad, and the team knows each other. Whereas like it's hard to call it as well, because like you're looking at the likes of Waterford there and kind of very unknown. You'd have teams like, I'm not saying they're going to be down in the relegation battle now, but the likes of St. Pat's, who've been hit and miss over the last couple of years. You've had your Derry that hasn't really hit their stride last year either, so like both, I suppose, on the Longford and Drogheda point of view, like we both have the bones of our squad from the last couple of years. So if like it does get tough and we do have to dig in, at least the lads are kind of used to each other,
Yeah, I agree with what he's saying. I agree with what Eaton's saying there, because it's just, you want to see our team do as well as possible, and you just don't want to also put the pressure on the players. The players know that they're in the Premier Division, and they know that the standards, they know the qualities that other teams have. Look, you mentioned there about Waterford and a team full of unknowns that from coming over from England, a lot of players. Kevin Sheedy coming in. I thought that was a big surprise to me, even seeing him coming in as the manager of Waterford. So yeah, look, you know what I mean. There's going to be other teams as well. Like you just never know. It's too hard to tell. It's too hard to call anything really, because you see, even since COVID, anything can happen. Honestly, anything can happen. Football's just turned into this absolute mad sport, and I think it's better like that. I honestly do think it's better like that. But look, I hope for the best, anyways. For both, I'd love to see Longford do well as well. I think Dara Doyle has done really, really well with them. Really, really good players.
Yeah.
Big, like some really good players there, like Rob Manley as well. Really, really good player, and Aid Dervin as well. Big admirer of him. I think he's a brilliant player.
It'd be good for the First Division if the two teams that got promoted actually managed to stay up.
Yeah,
it does kind of show the quality that isn't, because like even looking at the First Division this year, there's some huge names, and it's going to be very interesting to see who wins that one.
Yeah, look, exactly. The First Division is just the quality, and that, like, I honestly think.
I'm glad you got out of it this season, by the way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
To be honest, like, it's just the quality is so good in it. You've Shelburne there, Galway going full time. Like that is a real. I was surprised by that now to see that happen. John Caulfield coming in, and he's brought in players that he's managed before. So he's added a really good squad there. Cork as well. They're no stranger to anyone. They're absolutely and they're an established Premier Division club. Cork are, and to see them in the first. Yeah, Bray as well. Bray actually look really good. Bray look really, really good.
well. Like I think he's far too good for the first division, in my opinion. Kavanagh.
Brilliant player, yeah. Yeah, that was it. I thought seeing them signing was an interesting. I was surprised to see Brandon Kavanagh. I thought he would have went to the Premier Division club, even on loan, but because I thought he was going to go to Pats or something. I don't know why I thought that. I thought I think there was talks of that happening, but yeah, but yeah, no. Look, it's great to see the first division as well getting that quality, because it's not an easy league to get out of, and I think both Longford and Drogheda will know about that,
Yeah, definitely.
100%. So Longford take on Derry this weekend. How are you seeing that one? Good test, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a nice opener. It really is a pit. Like there's a couple of videos up at the ground there today, and the sun was shining, and like it really is a pity, that the fans can't be there. Like, and Derry, like, because we play our home games on the Saturday then as well, and Derry would bring a huge crowd down, and the place would be buzzing, But look, I'd love to say we get the 3 points, but like I simply don't know. It's very hard to call. But Derry are that sort of team. You don't know what you're going to get with them. Like, they could challenge for Europe this year, or they could be right down in the mix. So, but I really like Declan Devine, and I just hope that obviously we could get a win or get a point on the board even.
Yeah, it's very hard to predict early games, in fairness, actually. But Drogheda must fancy their chances in a way against Waterford, because how we spoke about Waterford before, they haven't been going well in pre-season, but they look like a team that literally have been just thrown together as well. Obviously, Drogheda aren't like that, so it is an opportunity, I feel, for Drogheda to maybe start this with 3 points, isn't it?
I hope so. I'm praying. Like it's just all of this is just. I'm just looking forward to it now. I just to see Drogheda in the Premier Division. It's what you want to see. You want to see our club up there. In them big leagues. It's great to see. And look, Waterford at home. Myself, I hope we can beat them. I don't want to. I don't like. I'm not mad about predicting. I don't like predicting anything. It's just if someone would even say to me about a score prediction for something, I'd be like this. No, you're not asked. Don't ask me and all this. But I'm confident. I'm confident that the lads will go out and hopefully start on the right way. And please God.
Neither of us really want to jinx it, do we?
No, you don't want to jinx anything. You also don't want to predict anything. You don't want to look a fool.
So Luke says Drogheda win, and Ethan says Longford win. Good stuff,
lad. Putting words in my mouth now. Seriously.
All right, lads, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much for coming on. That was brilliant stuff, and best of luck in the new season. Thanks very much, lads.
Thanks so much for having me.
No bother.